Gaming news today is all about Stalker 2, but we also have a lot of other gaming news for you. I am going to kick off this live show with a review roundup of Stalker 2. I'm also going to show you the great new update to the PS Portal and what that feels like on the cloud. We had leaks earlier this week about Stalker 2 and performance issues. And we're hearing some not great things, but we're also hearing the Day Zero patch fixes a good portion of it, like 1,100 fixes or something like that. So we will be looking at a bunch of different reviews. Not great right now. It's not landing very well. It's not landing terribly, but it's also not landing as strongly as I was hoping. We also have some exciting news about Fable gameplay from somebody who claims to have seen footage, and there is encouraging info coming out about the next Battlefield game, but I actually cut that from the show open. They're basically going to be doing more play testing for the next game, so that's good news. There you go. We have 2 new PS5 Pro enhanced games that I'll give you information on. They just released trailers for them yesterday, and there are brand new rumors swirling about the PS6. And again, the surprise last-minute edition, the PlayStation Portal, that I'll be showing you how that cloud gaming works that they have added. I told you they were going to add cloud gaming even before I was sort of told by sources they would do that. It just made sense that the Portal would get cloud gaming functionality. And we do have a very quick update on Sony buying FromSoft. Their parent company has responded. And I, of course, have more games for your wish list and your radar. But let's jump right into it. If you're in the live audience, make sure you hit that like button. That helps me out. And we always have great incentives and goals for members, gifted members, and super chats. So those are other great ways to support as well. So let's just dive right in to the Stalker 2 review roundup. And I've got a lot of reviews here. I'm going to start with the lowest scores and work my way up to the better scores. VGC gave it 2 out of 5 stars, and they said in their title, they said Stalker 2's best ideas are undercut by a stale plot and constant performance problems. They conclude that Stalker 2 could be a great game in a few years, but that's what's presented at launch is a technical mess and doesn't capitalize on its best ideas. Compelling side stories and brilliant setting do a lot of the heavy lifting, but at launch, Stalker 2 isn't an adventure we'd fully recommend embarking on. They said that the pros were great setting, compelling side stories. When working, the lighting is nice with the time of day effects. The cons are constant performance issues, an uncountable number of bugs, weak main plot, and poor AI. Now you have to see, most of what they said are performance issues, okay? A lot of what they said are performance issues, and we're hearing that the Day Zero patch is fixing a lot of things. So hopefully some of these scores will either change or be sort of contextualized. Games Radar gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and they said that it is the best, most broken game I've played all year. They concluded that, quote, as someone who adores the original Stalker trilogy, jank and instability are issues I'm all too familiar with, but Stalker 2 in its current state has too much baggage to overlook. It's worth noting that there is a day 1 patch in the works, so some of these issues may already have been fixed by launch, but given I can only make a recommendation based on the game I have, it's hard to suggest anyone wades into the zone without knowing what they're in for. Even with these bugs, Stalker 2 is the best hardcore survival shooter I've played, and few settings can live up to the zone's beauty and bleakness. So they are saying that it's fun and they like it, and it's got a lot of good things, but the performance issues again are overriding things. Now, Video Gamer gave it 8 out of 10. So that's a pretty good score. I mean, that's a solid score. And they said, quote, you already know if you'll like GSC's newest entry in the series. If you like Call of Pripyat, you'll like this. If you didn't, Heart of Chernobyl rarely hides any true improvements to the formula. It's exactly what fans expect, albeit with a fancy, oftentimes gorgeous new look of paint and some modern sensibilities, but it's Stalker through and through for better or for worse. Their pros are a brilliant and beautiful world drenched in atmosphere. Fascinating stories can be found all throughout the zone. Every corner hides something useful to find, and it makes exploration always rewarding. Now, the cons are the main story isn't as interesting as many would hope. Fighting non-human enemies is annoying, especially early on, and poor AI backed by high damage output can make fights feel unsatisfying. So again, there's that poor AI coming up there. I don't know if a Day Zero patch is going to fix that. Hopefully it can fix the performance issues as well as the AI issues that we're hearing about. So that, they gave it a pretty good score. Now, Hardcore Gamer gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and they said, although the review build came with a few minor technical issues and some other annoyances, it seems like most of them will be gone by the time the game launches. I find it strange they're calling them minor. Everybody else is saying that they were pretty egregious. They said, I'm saying that because the review build received no fewer than 4 updates that fixed a ton of problems in the last week alone, and a sizable Day Zero patch has already been confirmed, and the developers play their cards right. They can continue improving and expanding upon the game post-launch. The future ahead should be bright for Stalker 2. Now, this isn't a live service game, so I don't think a bunch of people are going to wait around for this game to fix itself and get better, all right? Now, Xbox Era gave the game an 84, and they concluded the following. Stalker 2 is everything fans of the franchise could ever dreamed of. 12 years after the last entry, GSC Game World has overcome adversity and created something special. It will not be for everyone, but it's on Game Pass, cloud, console, and PC, so why not give it a go? Not a great endorsement there. The Zone is calling, and I cannot wait to answer once again. I mean, telling people that, like, hey, it's on Game Pass and cloud and consoles, so why not give it a try? That's not the strongest endorsement. This game looked like it was going to be a strong end of the year for Xbox. We had people coming away from the preview saying they felt like they may have played the game of the year. Currently, I'm just going to quickly pull open the Metacritic for it because we were looking at that this morning. It has a 74 on PC. It has a 74 on PC, and then if we switch to Xbox, it has an 80. So the score on Xbox, there's less reviews. There's only 14 reviews on Xbox. So not a terrible score, but not the strong end to the year that we were hoping to see. But we do have some good news for fans of Xbox. According to GameSpot, Fable reportedly has Witcher-like combat, and this is what they said, quote, Windows Central Jez Corden recently disclosed that he was shown alpha footage of Fable that had CD Projekt Red DNA in the way that the main character handled herself in battle. He also noted that the combat flowed smoothly from melee weapons like swords to magic attacks, not unlike the way Geralt fights in The Witcher 3. Corden said it wasn't one-to-one like Geralt, but it was enough to impress him. Now, I'll be honest, if they nail this sounds great. If the alleged gameplay that they showed in these trailers, I've always felt like these trailers are simulated gameplay, not raw gameplay. I want raw gameplay like they showed with South of Midnight. And if they can nail what we're hearing from Jez, just in these quick shots and the graphical style, this game could be one of my more anticipated games next year, okay? But obviously, we're going to have to wait and see. Again, we heard amazing things about Stalker 2 from the previews, and I know people are trying to go and give people grief about that, but a preview is a vertical slice, and a lot of the bugs and the glitches and issues can be very, very much subdued whenever you do that. And so I'm not going to lay anybody's high praise from the previews at their feet because the reviews aren't landing all that strong. Guys, as I'm moving my way through the gaming news for you, make sure you are smashing that like button as you come in. We do have two new... Excuse me. Sorry, sneezing in the show open. We have two new PS5 Pro enhanced games as well. This got announced yesterday, and these are pretty impressive. They actually are tied together, Redacted and Callisto Protocol. So Redacted is the one you're looking at right here. This actually takes place in the Black Iron prison, and it uses some of the weapons from the Callisto game. And it has the following, a 4K 120 FPS mode and an 8K 60 FPS mode. So you can actually now enjoy this game in 8K 60 if you would like, or 4K 120. Now, this game is less graphically demanding. I get that. People were like, oh, wow, that's a real next-gen game. The point is, more and more devs are tapping into the power of the PS5 Pro. I will speak in a moment on some of the games that aren't doing a good job and what PlayStation needs to do about that. I will also say this game has an 87% on Steam and a 92% on PlayStation Store, so I may need to go back and try it again. I wasn't too keen on the combat flow. It didn't really feel like it knew what it wanted to be. It was like, is it supposed to be a quick twin-stick shooter with frenetic combat, or is it going to be more like fast-paced melee-based with some abilities like in Hades? It was like the two styles of combat were in conflict. Everything felt bad without significant upgrades. And I never like playing a game where your guns and your weapons don't feel good until you get really far. Maybe they've balanced some of that. They've pushed out a bunch of patches, but that's not the only game that is getting an upgrade. For the PS5 Pro, Callisto Protocol, which has always been a graphically impressive game, they said the following: experience the Callisto Protocol like never before with the power of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Fight out of Black Iron Prison in breathtaking 8K 30 FPS or 4K 60, both with full ray tracing. So the side-by-sides here showing that you're going to get full ray tracing 4K 60, which is insane. That's an insane sentence to say for a console, okay? We're only 4 years into this gen, and the PS5 Pro is delivering far more than I ever expected to get in a game. And I really wish I could have vibed with Callisto Protocol, because it's one of the most graphically impressive games to come out this gen. I just didn't like the combat. It didn't feel very good, and I really gave it a second go. I really tried. A lot of people agree with me, but other people think it's great. So more power to you. Go enjoy it in 4K 60 ray tracing. I'm looking forward to a Digital Foundry breakdown of that to see exactly what they're able to pull off, because there are some issues with PSSR right now. Jedi Survivor is mired in performance issues. The devs have acknowledged that the patch made things worse. Silent Hill 2 and Black Ops 6 also, there's some kind of a shimmering bug happening. This has been acknowledged by the developers. They are attempting to patch this. Now, the rest of the games that have received updates are reporting that there's nothing, we're not seeing this in any other places. So some people are theorizing there's some kind of an issue with PSSR implementation, an older version of PSSR or something, and the devs are working on a fix. Now listen, the label for PS5 Pro Enhanced is great. Devs clearly are pining after it. PlayStation is going to have to create some kind of a quality gate here, because this cannot be a trend that continues. You can't be telling people, hey, you just bought this $700 console, check out this amazing list of PS5 Pro Enhanced games, and have them running worse and have them having problems. That's not a good representation of your product. So if I was PlayStation, I'd be having some pretty serious conversations with the developers who pushed out, basically patches very quickly or too soon, and they're not polished and they're not running well. Jedi Survivor is notorious for having bad performance anyways. So I'm not really sure why people are using that as an example. I've literally had people getting up my nose about this on Twitter and in my comments because I haven't talked about it. And it's like, I've been bad on Jedi Survivor for a long time because it had such poor performance. One or two games that have implemented poor patches is not an indictment of the Pro. Some of you fanboys need to go outside and touch grass or smoke some. You need to chill out. I don't think this is an indictment of the Pro. It's a handful of games that pushed out bad patches. All the rest of the games have been highly praised by the tech analysis of Digital Foundry and others. So everybody just needs to take a breath. It's just a piece of plastic that for whatever reason you decided to hate. Just buy it and have some fun instead of being such a hater. It's not that difficult. Jiminy Christmas. Anyway, there's already rumors about the PS6. So in line with this, we're already getting rumors about the PS6. Some of this is not surprising, given the length of time that it takes to create a brand new console. We have recent comments that have indicated that the PS5 Pro was a 5-year project, and then the person that was commentating said that this type of tech can be spun up in about 3 to 5 years. Insider Gaming has the article saying PS6 rumors suggest the console will use AMD's UDNA architecture. They claim that, according to a new rumor on a Chinese forum from the hardware leaker Zynga's, I'm not going to try and say it, the PS6 will use AMD's next-gen UDNA GPU architecture within the console, and according to the article, it's the same architecture AMD will use in its Radeon 9000 series. GPUs are starting in the 2026 with that series, and it also reaffirmed that the console itself will utilize Zen 4 or Zen 5 CPU. The CPU decision, however, remains undecided per the claim. Now, obviously, none of this is confirmed, and according to Insider Gaming, 2028 is looking like the likely release date of the PS6. They previously reported that they were hearing fall of 2028 would be the absolute earliest we would see a PS6. I have speculated that it's going to get pushed into 2029 due to the ramp-up years, the first 2 years of this gen. We're also seeing the PS5 Pro do incredibly well, and dev cycles are getting longer, so I could see them waiting a little bit. But given the comments about spinning up technology in 3 to 5 years, they could start shrinking the windows and really dovetail the hardware, or maybe not dovetail, like almost overlap like scales, where you have the PS5, then the Pro, then the PS6, then the PS6 Pro, almost having shorter increments in between, maybe 3 to 4 years in between every single one of those iterations, creating more cartilage between every gen, and the developers, especially once they tap into PSSR, will likely think that that's great, because then their devices will not be a hindrance to the project. They'll be able to launch something and it'll hit all the devices tapping into PSSR, and then the performance will just vary according to the strength of the device. So that's something that I could see them doing as well. And speaking of PlayStation devices, the PS Portal has cloud gaming now. Man, who would have thought that would happen? Except for me. I said it a bunch. I'm being tongue-in-cheek. I did say it a bunch from the very, very beginning that they were going to add cloud to the PS Portal. It just made perfectly good sense. And they have launched the PS5 Portal beta. You do need PS Plus Premium in order to access cloud gaming. Now, I tested it out this morning, both in Members Coffee and on my couch, and it is remarkable. It takes about 20 seconds to open a game. I opened up Ghost of Tsushima and Remnant 2, roughly 20 seconds to open the game. Once I'm in the game, minimal latency. In Ghost of Tsushima, you can replay duels, and I went and I replayed a duel, and it was the Viper duel, and Viper is really fast. And it took me about 4 tries to beat him. Now, the first couple of fights, I got my head caved in. I hadn't played in a while, and I was rusty. And then I kind of got back into my chops. There was some latency. I think there might have been 1 or 2 input drops. Overall, I was impressed that I was able to beat a replay duel in Tsushima on my 4th try. Okay, so this is a $200 device. This is basically the price of a DualSense Edge. This is the cost of like a high-end controller, and it's now a cloud device. So, and I know people are going to say, oh, but I thought you were down on cloud. I have always said that cloud will never be mainstream if the infrastructure doesn't get better, especially in America. The internet infrastructure is not very good. Cloud, not for me especially, will never supplant my main way of gaming. I'm still going to play on a PS5 Pro. I'm still going to play on a PC or the Nintendo Switch. This is a fantastic option for $200. The fact that I can remote into my PS5 Pro, and that has commonly been a huge help to me in my gaming experiences. Both my kids have a TV claimed. I can sit on the couch with them and game. I can play a co-op game with my son, and we don't have to worry about running out of TVs, right? Especially if it's an online co-op game. Also, people said this was going to be DOA. It was pointless. It was stupid. It was worthless. I think their opinions are pointless and stupid and worthless. This thing is a bargain for the $200, and it now adds even greater functionality, and the latency and this infrastructure for cloud for PlayStation was very impressive to me. I thought it was excellent. And again, this is what I call this, because people were joking. It's like, well, this is a PlayStation. I would call this a PlayStation 5 Lite. This is now a PlayStation 5 Lite. For $200, you can buy this. You don't have to own a PlayStation 5. You can sign up for PS Plus Premium, and you can play games over the cloud. So if you're traveling a lot, and that's something that would be helpful to you if you're in places where there's lots of good internet, this is basically a PlayStation 5 Lite for $200. Great entrance point for people that might not want to buy a console. They start playing some of those games over cloud, and then they might change their mind. Now, we have a very, very quick update before I move into games for your wish list and your radar. I know this is a bit of a longer show open, but the parent company, Kadokawa, has responded that they have received an initial letter of intent from Sony to purchase, okay? No decision has been made. Reuters indicated in their initial report that if the deal does go through, we would know something in the coming weeks. They've received the letter of intent. The conversations will commence, and we'll see what happens. I am not in support of mergers like this. I don't think it benefits the consumer. I was against ABK, and I'm against this. I don't like when companies do this sort of thing. It tends to take choice away from the consumer. My 2 greatest concerns are Sony could become like Disney of anime. They could own a huge chunk of anime and raise their prices and limit consumer choice. I've never been a big fan of that. Hopefully they don't do that. The other major concern that I have is if PlayStation can then suddenly take the same attitude with future FromSoftware games that they have taken with their own games, requiring a PSN login on Steam, even for single-player games. They can basically then shut out entire regions of the world from playing future FromSoft games. I am not in support of that. I am against that. I've been against that from moment one. They still have not rectified the issue with Helldivers 2. So, all the people that cheered for Activision Blizzard, I guess you're cheering for this now too because consolidation's good, right? No, I can at least remain consistent, unlike all these other people who cheered for Activision and now they're against this. I was against Activision and I'm against this deal because when you have integrity and you stay consistent, you don't have to constantly change your position with the winds of time, okay? Try to keep up. Anyway, let's move into the games for your wish list and your radar, and this is one to avoid, okay? This is one to avoid. Towers of Agasba has released in early access on PS5 and PC. I would encourage you to skip this one for now. This is the risk of allowing games to go into early access. It has a 42% on PlayStation and a 44% on Steam, okay? The complaints are gameplay does not look like the trailers. You can't progress if you play with somebody else, like if somebody's hosting and you're not, like you don't progress. So you basically have to play by yourself. That's always a frustration. There's also a host of other problems listed in the negative reviews, okay? Now, the hope would be it's early access, right? And they'd be able to make a bunch of great improvements to the game so that it could look like this, because this looks great, doesn't it? For now, it's $30. I would say skip it for now and hope for better improvements. Now, PlayStation is going to need to consider how they handle early access games on console because a bunch of people just spent $30 on this. They're going to be very apprehensive to support early access games in the future. This, again, is why I think we need very, very good consumer protections on PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo. I think that you should be able to refund as easily as you purchased. It should be right in the store. You should make it very, very clear and very, very easy. That will likely require government regulation. I'm a small government guy. I don't like tons of government regulation. I think it's bad for a lot of industries. But in this case, I think consumer protection should be put in place. We should be able to refund games much more easily. And I think that would create a healthier relationship with early access games anyway, because you could buy it, refund it, and say, nope, no thanks, and give your money to somebody else that's doing early access that might be in better shape. I love the idea of early access. I love games getting into the hand of the consumer earlier so that they can see if it's any good and provide that feedback and have a good symbiotic relationship with the developer, but it's not good if you're going to spend $30 for something that's getting such an abysmal score and then you're kind of stuck with it, and then you're going to be way less likely to then support an early access game in the future. So for now, unfortunately, I would avoid Towers of Agasba, and hopefully the devs can commit to fixing things and making things better. The next game is called Bloodshed. Now, I showed you a game like this already. This is a roguelite survivor FPS. They say that it's an exhilarating fusion of roguelite elements merged with retro-style visuals and first-person survivor-like frenetic combat. Now, I showed you guys Vampire Hunters. That gameplay is on the stream. On the channel, you can go check it out, Vampire Hunters, and that's one where you get tons of weapons and they like fill the screen, and it's crazy, but it's fun. This seems to center around one weapon that you can upgrade or change. It also features a soundtrack that is very doom metal-esque, so it's awesome. It has a demo right now on Steam. It will launch on December the 12th into early access, so you can wishlist this one or check out the demo if that's the kind of game that you like. I think this new era of like survivor games coming out is awesome. Like, it's so cool to see the creativity from the developers. Now, I've got one that's already out, so this is not a demo or something coming to early access. This is Halls of Torment. This is an action roguelike bullet hell. This is on Steam, and funny enough, this one's kind of taken off. It has 24,000 reviews and a 95%, and it released in September of this year. That's a lot of reviews for only being out for a couple of months. Its price is also $6.66, so it's $6.66. So if this is your style of game, that's a great price. Now, if you're superstitiously religious and you're like, I don't want to spend $6.66, you can buy it bundled with Brotato for $10. So you can get the hot potato bundle. Halls of Torment is another one to put on your wish list or your radar. It is out now, and it's got a great score. So just to recap, the Stalker 2 review roundup, not great. Hoping the Day Zero patch can fix a lot of the issues we heard about in the reviews. We heard exciting things about Fable gameplay. We have 2 new PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced games. There's rumors about the PlayStation 6. The PS Portal has added cloud gaming. Sony is actually trying to buy FromSoft's parent company, Kadokawa, and I added some games to your wish list and your radar. So that's the news. And now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Let's get to 100 likes. We're so close already. Thank you so much for tuning in daily throughout the week for all of the breakdowns. We will be playing Stalker 2 gameplay today. We'll test out and see if that day 0 patch has made significant improvements, because the reviews really centered around it being a bad state game, as well as AI not being so great. And let's keep things going. Joker Quinn, Han shot first, and so did you. Stonespire tried to set up the 20 bomb yesterday to bait us to 275. You just made an agent of chaos if anybody takes that bait. And Solid Snake with 13 months says, good morning. Really hope the Portal Cloud Gaming is good. My experience so far has been fantastic. Ward Huff renewed their member plus as well. That's 2 more members, bumping the line to 257. And again, guys, take that quick second. Make sure it's saving your thumbs up. That like button is immensely helpful right at the beginning of the stream. Let's double check on the Stalker Metacritic and see where it has landed. XCal Gifts, a member as well. Little member train to start the day. Don't mind if we do. Thank you so much. As a reminder, I will be out of town next week for the week of Thanksgiving. No content, no uploads, no streams, okay? So let's have a big week. Hilly returns to Friday night with Hilly Hijinks. Keep that member goal going. We'll have some amazing stretch goals for you guys. You guys can put us through some pain. So, good morning and welcome in. How bad is it? Like Redfall bad? It seems like it's a good game that has issues that can be fixed. Redfall was just bad. It was a bad game from moment one, okay? So this seems like Stalker 2 is a good game that has just a litany of bugs and performance issues. It's got issues with the AI not being so great. These are obviously things that I hope get patched. I don't think it's as easy to fix AI issues. I mean, I think you can typically fix issues with you can typically fix issues with like performance, like bugs and stutters and things like that. Alex Battaglia from Digital Foundry, he indicated that they have already seen significant fixes from the day 0 patch, so like a traversal stuttering issue or something. Sorry, I was moving my laptop. It was like in the way. It was in the way. Hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Trekkie. A game that came out too early again. Here's the thing that frustrates me about it. It just really, really feels like it needed another delay, and I really hope that it didn't come down to Xbox being like, no. You know what I mean? Even Lono has a similar feeling that I do. Mass consolidation is not good for the consumer, and he has no emotional investment in anime. Yeah, I don't watch anime, and I don't want Sony to get Kadokawa. I don't want them to own FromSoft. I don't. I like Sony. I like PlayStation. I like the games they bring to the market. I don't want them suddenly saying that Elden Ring 2 won't land in the regions that the first game landed in because they're going to want that PlayStation login on Steam. I think that's I'm against that. You can intellectualize it and explain to me why PlayStation wants to do it and why Sony wants to do it. I don't care. You're removing choice from the consumer, and I am against that. I have a principled position against removing choice or taking choice from the consumer. I was against the Xbox Activision deal for the same reason. I was like, you're going to take choice away from the consumer because you're going to have less product, less studios, less stuff coming to market. That's less things for me to consume and buy and enjoy. And I don't want Sony to make this move. I'm against it, wholeheartedly against it. And so, and this is the beauty of being consistent. These people that are now suddenly against acquisitions who cheered for Activision, well, they just look like hypocrites. It's like, at least I'm being consistent. I'm not suddenly being like, well, I like Sony more, so I'm okay with it. I did say yesterday that I don't mind when PlayStation buys a developer that they're partnering with because I like the quality of work we get from them. When Xbox buys a studio, they've got to suddenly make a game for Cloud, Series S, Series X, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo. Like, I don't like a developer suddenly being thrust into that level of like spreading your game's development bandwidth. So I definitely feel more comfortable like when PlayStation buys a studio, but with the way they've handled their Steam and the logins with PSN, I'm like, I don't want you guys to buy studios now because you're going to limit the reach of the product. You're going to take it away from regions of the world. I'm not okay with that. Can you confirm whether you need a PS5 for cloud gamer or not? You don't. No. The blog specifically states all you need to do this is this, a PlayStation account, and PS Plus Premium. That's all you need. This is now a PlayStation 5 Lite. That's what this just became. Steam's the one taking it away. I mean, that's a fancy way of slicing the onion, but I don't agree with you. PlayStation knows full well that when they require that PSN, it will limit the region on Steam because Steam's not going to sell something to somebody who can't engage with it. PlayStation is the cause. The causality in the relationship is PlayStation. You can slice the onion and say, oh, but Steam's the one doing it. No. PlayStation is the causality. You don't get to pass the buck to Steam. That's ridiculous. Rich Rod with a $5 super chat. Xbox deserves zero from games if the deal happens. They rob PlayStation gamers of Bethesda games because they could make good games. PlayStation deserves the same energy. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's one on the super chat goal. Yeah, I don't agree with you. I don't get vindictive about video games. Well, they don't deserve from games because of what they did to Bethesda. I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't like what they did, but that doesn't mean we answer back. I will suggest getting a PS5, though. I could 100% see a business professional, a guy that likes to game, who's never home. He buys this for $200. He signs up for PS Plus Premium, and he cloud streams games, and he says, these games are kind of hot. I think I'm going to get that PS5. I think I'm going to get that PS5 Pro. Like, this could be a catalyst to console sales if it's for the right consumer. For the right consumer, you know, that's a cheap entrance point. $200, and maybe they've never really done the console gaming thing, but because they're on the go too much, and they're like, yeah, that'd be a great solution for me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that's why we're hearing rumors that there is the potential of an actual genuine PlayStation handheld coming to market where you would install things natively. Those consumers in those regions have been buying PlayStations and have PSN accounts for close to 20 years now. Steam's the one that stepped in. I know we've had this debate before, Eugene, and you always insist that like people have been able to do it without any problem in those regions for all this time, and your evidence is people talking about it on Reddit. Like, well, I've been doing this, or I just use this way to sign up for PSN or whatever. Steam is not going to sell a product to a person in a region that might not know about all that. All they know is this game requires PSN. I go to make a PSN and I can't. My region doesn't allow it. There are consumers that would be like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. So Steam is saying, out of protection for the consumer, we're not going to sell them a game that requires a login, and when they go to make the login, they're told that their region cannot make a login. Well, but all you got to do is say you're from another region. You can't have that as like your standard operating procedure. Well, it's not a big deal. You just have to lie when you make your account. Like, come on. Sony has total control over the PSN requirement. Steam is just following the rules that Sony set. Yeah, Steam is not the bad guy here. I'm not even saying Sony is the bad guy. I'm just saying I don't agree with what they're doing. I know why they're doing it. I get it. They see PC as an additive market. They don't see that market as like, oh, we need to make sure everybody can have our games. They don't care. It's additive. They don't care. I don't like it. I don't support it. It takes choice away from the consumer. That's my position. It's a principled position. It's a belief. I can't argue my position is objectively correct because it's a belief. It's a principled position that I've arrived to from my own, my own views of the market, is that taking choice away from the consumer is not a good thing. What do you say to Pace Plays comment? Kadokawa is looking to sell. If Sony doesn't buy, Tencent will. Still against Sony buying it. I'm against anybody. If Kadokawa is looking to sell, then it's unavoidable. Okay? Hang on. I'm having to process this through, like, what I think about these situations, because I do. I have, like, beliefs and principles about it. It's not factual, so I've got to formulate an opinion. Because now we have conditional statement, right? If Kadokawa is looking to sell, it is likely then you've got to choose what you think the best outcome would be. Yeah, I have to become a pragmatist, and I have to say, if they're looking to sell, who do I think the best relationship would be? Probably PlayStation. I think they're a better fit with the games. It's a better fit also for the entertainment aspect with anime. Yeah. A $5 super chat tip from Will Broke Boy Lewis. And lying about your region when you create your PSN account is technically against their terms of service and could get your account banned. Of course. Of course. You don't want to give them a reason to just be able to ban you anytime. Can you make a login for every other provider in all regions, or are there regions where you cannot get a Blizzard? I'm not actually sure, Corey. I just know there are regions where you can't make a PSN. Yeah, there are regions where you can't make a PSN. Lesser of evils. I'm never going to throw confetti in the air for mergers like this. Never. I don't like them. If they are looking to sell, well, what am I going to do? No, don't sell. I mean, I can't tell them what to do with their company. And if they feel they need to sell, and it keeps people employed, it keeps studios opened, it keeps projects coming to the market, I mean, I can't be against them selling then. The pragmatist in me says, if this is going to keep the studios open and keep the projects going and keep people employed, because Kadokawa's like, dude, listen, we need to sell, or we're gonna have to really, really shrink our operating costs and shut studios down and lay people off. If the sale to PlayStation or anybody really ends up keeping a greater number of people employed and studios open and projects coming to the market, then I have to say, yeah, it's a necessary thing. It's necessary. Now, people are going to clap back and say, well, Activision Blizzard was looking to sell. Activision Blizzard didn't need to sell. They didn't. They were at a size, and they had some of the most profitable gaming property in the world. They didn't need to sell. So if anybody starts saying that, like, oh no, Activision Blizzard needed to sell, no. They were trying to get rid of Kotick so he could get his golden parachute, and the reason the people at the top wanted to sell, because they all wanted to make a bunch of money. Like, you know, Lulu Chang on Twitter, your champion, your Union Buster champion. So people were basically cheering for an acquisition with Activision that was not about the consumer, not about saving the studios or the employees. It was about padding the pockets of the executives and giving Xbox the ability to lean further into publishing. It doesn't do anything for the consumer. Now, if you got a company that's in a situation that Kadokawa's in and they're like, listen, we want to sell. We've got a situation here. We need to sell. If that's what's motivating their sale, well then, yeah, if that's what they have to do, I'm still not thrilled. It's like, okay, you're going to end up consolidating. You're going to end up giving more power to one company. You're going to end up having all a good chunk of the anime under one roof. You know, and then future FromSoft games are going to be region restricted because of the PSN requirement on Steam. It's up to the shareholders. This deal is the same. It's about making money. I believe that they can be wholly different, though, Paul. There can be companies that are like, we need to sell because we are in a depressed state. Their valuation gets depressed. Their operating cost is too high, right? And they're gonna go into a tailspin. So they're like, listen, we need to sell. That's not what Activision Blizzard was facing. Activision Blizzard was dealing with executives that wanted to get Kotick out, and they wanted it to happen in a way where they could get golden parachutes. That's not the same as a company that's like, we're trying to survive. They're a publicly traded company, and if a big offer comes in, you have to review it. Oh, yes, they have to. And they have to, the shareholders, if the shareholders decide that it is worth taking, they will take it for sure. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft's going to buy Kadokawa. No, I think Microsoft is going to pull in the reins on purchases. I've seen plenty of clips of, Bleed Green podcasts that are hoping Microsoft starts buying more. I think they're gonna rein that in. They mad because Sony has the strongest system, the Portal's the best handheld, and Xbox is giving Sony their games. I mean, listen, all of the I think my favorite thing about this year is the literal dominoes. It's happened so fast. It's like watching dominoes fall. It's like every single thing that the bad faith and the liars, the grifters, the obfuscators, all these people, they have all, for like what, the 10th time this year, been made to look like absolute buffoons and fools. They cheered for an Activision deal that has now turned Xbox into a publisher and devalued the console, and they laid people off and they shut down studios, which is everything we said was going to happen, and everybody that cheered for it said that would never happen. Then you're seeing first-party property go to PlayStation and Nintendo, another thing these people said would never happen. Then the PS5 Pro is real. They all said that it wasn't real. Then they said it was worthless and it was unimpressive. And then Digital Foundry comes out and sings its praises. And now they're trying to cherry pick like, oh, but Jedi Survivor's bad. Well, yeah, you have 2 to 3 devs that pushed out bad patches and like 50-something other games that run perfectly fine and have received amazing analysis from Digital Foundry. Another just absolute display of tribalistic buffoonery from people who don't know what they're talking about. And here we sit again with the PlayStation Portal. They're never going to add cloud to that. They can't add cloud to that. That thing's DOA. That thing's stupid. That thing's worthless. Nobody wants that. It exceeds demand. It sells better than they expected. Hard to get them. They're selling out for a while. And now they just added cloud with an update. It's just like a consistent theme of people that just have zero clue what's going on in the industry and what's going to lead to this and what's going to lead to that. They all wear blindfolds and throw darts at the floor and think they're hitting the board. It's like, what in the world? Jedi Survivor has issues on high-end PC. It's not a useful data point. Yeah, Jedi Survivor is one of the worst optimized games I think I've ever played. The devs have responded. That game, it took them 4 to 5 months to get performance mode passable on on console. Yeah. And now, like, the 10th thing that we get to watch these buffoons stumble on themselves about is, well, now all of a sudden mergers are bad. Now they're bad. It's fine when it's an unprecedented $70 billion form of consolidation with one of the largest publishers in the world going under one of the largest companies in the world. No, that's fine. Cheer for that. Try and pull the boot out of your mouth. And then when Sony's looking at Kadokawa, oh, now it's a problem. Like, I've said this a couple of times this year. So many of these people are speed running their irrelevancy. Who on earth is going to listen to you after you have quite literally struck out inning after inning after inning? You can't even get a man on base. You can't even get a man on base with your predictive powers. It's just pathetic. And none of it's driven by facts or analysis. It's always been driven by allegiance to a company. And that's why you will never hear me do that. Like when PlayStation does something I don't like, I have no allegiance to PlayStation. I don't. I'm like, I don't like that they did that. That was stupid. They've ruined the player base numbers for Helldivers 2 on Steam. They completely lampooned that game on Steam. It's doing better now. I don't think it'll ever hit the heights that it once hit. And then PSN requirements on single player games. What? Yeah, the Windows Central article. Yeah, Windows Central. I think that was Jez Corden that wrote that because he's been very frustrated with the cloud solutions from Xbox. August of last year, he said, PlayStation won the console war. Will Xbox let them win cloud gaming too? And he talked about how PlayStation was leapfrogging them in cloud. And here we sit now. You got a $200 device a $200 device in the market. This is a controller with a screen on it for $200 and in cloud games. And I've had a great experience so far. Now, obviously, capacity, bandwidth, all of that, the more people that get in there, I could have performance issues. But I tried it this morning and had zero problems. Loading up games in 20 seconds. And it had my cloud save of Tsushima. I was just right where I last was. I was like, what? I was like, what is this wizardry? The Pro got devs like, let's get this right. Sony runs. Yeah, I mean, the devs, this is one thing I will call on PlayStation to do. PlayStation needs better quality checks. You can't let people be pushing out PS5 Pro patches and getting the label. You've got to be checking these. They've got to go through some kind of a certification. You can't do that. You can't have somebody buying your most expensive, literally the most expensive piece of console hardware in the market. You can't have people spending $700 and then being like, oh, Jedi Survivor got a patch, let me check it out. And then it runs like Chach, right? You can't have that. They absolutely need quality checks because that is a terrible representation of your product. And it's not your product, it's the developer. It's like the developer did a bad job with their patch, so you should hold them accountable and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't be going out here and telling the public, yeah, our game's Pro Enhanced now. And then it's got all this shimmering nonsense going on, especially when other developers are implementing PS5 Pro Enhanced patches perfectly fine. Most played Call of Duty. No, that's not success. Are you responding to something or are you saying something? Why so mad? What are you saying? Your product's going to get blamed regardless. That's exactly right. The consumer is going to say, what the heck, man? I spent $700 and this game runs worse. Like, that's the last thing you want. It's one thing to not get a patch. You know, when you boot up Black Myth Wukong and there are still performance issues, right? It's one thing to have something like not get a patch and it, you know, and it runs a little bit better. It's another thing to get the patch and the label and to run like that. Sony locking the device is smart. They would be in the same boat as Xbox. Why would I buy an Xbox handheld if I can get a Steam Deck and play Game Pass and Steam? Yo, what's good, ADR Zone? Guys, as you're piling in this morning, welcome on in. Gaming news today. It's a variety gaming show. We talk about everything. We went through the Stalker review roundup. I will be playing Stalker 2 gameplay today. It ain't looking great, but we've heard the Day Zero patch is making a huge improvement on performance, which is one of the main things the reviews have been wailing on, along with not great story and bad AI. So we are really hoping. I'm cheering for these devs, man. I was so bummed when I saw that score. It's got a 74 on Metacritic with PC, and then it's got an 80. It's holding on to an 80. It's almost fallen into the 70s. It's holding on to an 80 on the Xbox Series X, but it only has 14 reviews. Most of its reviews are on PC. Stalker 2 Open Critic. Let's see here. I don't need a forum post. I need the actual Stalker 2 landing page. What is this? Stalker 2. Do they literally have it in here as with all the periods? Is that how they have it listed? On yes, they do. Their search engine is terrible. Open Critic, it has a 76. 47 reviews. Yeah, it has a 76. It's not a very good score. That's kind of a bummer. I was wanting that thing to land strong. That's why I didn't get any nominations. The gaming press could have nominated this. They had it in their hands because the embargo just lifted. So they 100% could have nominated this. You've been cheering for this game. No one can say that you haven't. I'm bummed. Those previews sounded so good. I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like these devs are really going to pull it out of the hat. And people were saying, oh, it could be game of the year. And I was like, oh man, they might have done it. Innovating in first-person shooters, I think, is actually really challenging. Do you think PlayStation will release different color portals? Yes. They released the 30th anniversary ones. You could get those. I think are those still available? I don't even know if they're still available. You could get the ones that look like the 30th anniversary colors. Nier DLC dropped today. Should be a great surge for Stellar. Hope it gets implemented well. So, do we have any details on the Stellar Blade DLC? Is it going to be like a new area and new content, or is it literally just you can stare at? I mean, I understand why, but you're just going to stare at 2B. Like, I'm not really sure what the content is. I mean, I don't have any complaints. My Twitter feed is getting a little heavy, but but yeah, is it new content? Do we know? Just skins? They shouldn't have called that a DLC. It's in the Discord. It's just new outfits. That's a bummer. It looked like the one trailer, like we were going to be able to go to a new area. It looked like 2B walked. Maybe I'm misremembering. I thought there was a scene where 2B walked up to an area and looked out over some field, or like a new area, and they were like, the sky was orange or something. It looked like we were going to go into new locations. No actual content. That's kind of a bummer. Oh, here we go. So, Stellar Blade DLC is out now. So there's new outfits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 outfits. New gimmicks added to the outfits when equipped. And then the Voice of No Return music is now available at the camps, and a new motion. Yeah, so you can do new things with photo mode and stuff. There you go. Guys, if you're just tuning in, all you got to do is hit subscribe, and you can talk in my chat. Subscribing is totally free. If you would like to support the channel directly and get into all of my extra content, the join button is there. And if you click that join button, make sure that you hit Member Plus. It is $6. It gets you into all of my content, and it helps keep you out of the gifted pool. If you guys need to be on gifteds, we appreciate that. But if you can afford your own, pick that Member Plus, get out of the gifted pool, make room for others. We're always trying to hit these goals, and every 25 members, I give 5. So we're on our way to the next milestone at 275. I'll give some more. Starship Troopers Extermination. Is this the VR game? Yeah, I think that's the VR game. Is Stellar Blade just a dress-up game now? I mean, it's my favorite game this year because of the combat. I loved it. Where'd I get that sweet Centipede shirt? This one comes from 80s Tees, and you can still use my code over there, Lono. We don't really do much with them anymore, but I've got so many shirts from them. They've actually dropped some of their prices. So yeah, you can use code Lono for like 30% off. It's a nice big discount. It's 80S Tees, 80s Tees. I still think playing through Stellar Blade is 2B from Nier Automata is pretty cool. I got the 30th color coming my way. Oh, so they still have this available in the 30th anniversary color? That's pretty cool. Make a buffoonery shirt. I'll definitely support you on that. It's a classic on your channel. The usage is golden. Well, thank you. And yeah, we will be, guys. I know some of you are interested in Stalker 2. I opened up the show with a Stalker 2 review roundup. That's what we opened up the show with, and it isn't looking that great. But we have seen that the Day Zero patch is addressing a bunch of issues. So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully that does solve a lot of the issues going on. It is one that I was looking forward to. And I was nervous about performance when we saw a leak. There was a Stalker 2 leak earlier this week, and I was very, very concerned about performance. Currently, the Stalker 2 OpenCritic has a 74 on PC and an 80 on Xbox. Its OpenCritic is a 76, so it's not landing particularly strong, but it is mostly because of performance issues, and we're hearing that the Stalker 2 patch will fix a lot of those issues. And bumping the line is Skylar G with 18 months of memberships. Are there any games you're looking to purchase for Black Friday? I'm looking at Rebirth, Last of Us 2, possibly Space Marine and Horizon series. I have to, because and that bumps the line to 259. because of the nature of my work, I have to buy games when they come out. And now I didn't buy Rebirth because I wasn't interested in it. But like The Last of Us 2 remake, I bought that and played that. Space Marine 2, bought that and played that. Same with Horizon. So I generally don't like wait for sales because I have to kind of have the game that day. So like with Stalker 2, well, I got it on Game Pass. If I liked it, I was going to buy it to support the devs. But if I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. It's a shame what's going on with them, but it sounds like it's going to be a frustrating experience. Unless, of course, the Day Zero patch kind of saves the day. You got to give Metaphor a try. You got to let me get into turn-based games naturally. It's got to be organic. And the art style and the vibe of Persona of Metaphor, I don't want to play it. It doesn't look like it would appeal to me. I'm telling you right now, that Expedition 33 game is going to get me to like turn-based. That game looks absolutely insane. Like, that's how Returnal got me into Rogues, right? Returnal was an amazing experience. Welcome back, Sam. Taylor, good to see you. You're going to try Persona 3 and 5? Yeah, the vibe of the Persona games and of the Metaphor games and stuff like that, I can't get into it. It's just not my vibe. I'm like, eh. Now, turn-based, again, I could be won over by turn-based. That Expedition 33 game, Claire Obscura or whatever it's called, everybody just keeps calling it Expedition 33. It looks insane. Metaphor's turn-based? Yeah, isn't it? Am I wrong? Is it not turn-based? I thought it was. I am getting a text. I have to confirm my haircut. I like turn-based games, but Metaphor ain't for me. Yeah, I thought it was a turn-based game. If you think Expedition 33 looks like you should check out Lost Odyssey. It was a 360 game and it looks similar. I mean, I'm not going to get one over into turn-based with a 360 game, homie. It just, no. I'll say this about Metaphor, says Wheezy. The story is very adult, and one of them almost made me cry knowing other fathers. Well, I can appreciate that. Wheezy. I'm here to tell you, you guys got to let me get there on my own. Returnal did it. Expedition 33 might be able to pull it off. Metaphor ain't going to do it. I promise you. I know. I'll give you an example. I had a perfectly fine time with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I actually was enjoying it quite a bit. It's one that I may go back to, especially now that I've been enjoying Dragon Age Veilguard and didn't expect to, and I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16 and didn't expect to. But Grand Blue Fantasy Relink's art style and the voices just sort of... I don't know what it is. It's just I immediately get sort of detached from the game. I really struggle to get attached to the game because of that. So, yeah. Anyways, we will be checking out Stalker 2 gameplay. And if you want to rewind, you can see my Stalker 2 review roundup at the beginning of this stream. Take a quick second and hit that like button. I would love to hear from you guys. You know, there's plenty going on in gaming news. We talked about the PlayStation Portal Cloud update. We talked about, you know, Sony FromSoftware merger. Seems like it might be going through, and I'm generally against those sorts of things. If it has to happen because they need to sell, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. I like that Metaphor turns away from the high school stuff. Dragon Quest III HD Remake is the game for you, Lono. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on games having graphical glitches on the Pro? Yeah, I talked about that. There's 3 games right now. How many games are now on the list? Like 60-something, right? So there's an awful lot of games that are having no problem. I think we need to say that. Because the console tribalists and the people that hate me were jumping on my tweets yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, this is why I just mute all of my tweets. Because you people are insane. They're like, oh yeah, you're not going to talk about Jedi Survivor? I'm like, really? What, you want me to do like, what, a 10-minute upload about how, once again, Jedi Survivor did something that it shouldn't have done? Like, it launched and was in terrible state. It still doesn't run well on PC. And, oh my gosh, surprise Pikachu face, the developers of Jedi Survivor pushed out a patch for PS5 Pro enhancements, and it doesn't run very well. I'm so shocked. Like, unbelievable. Anyways, yes, Black Ops 6, Silent Hill 2, and Jedi Survivor have all implemented PS5 Pro patches that are not doing good. They're not doing well. The problem isn't with the Pro patches and modes. The problem is those devs remove the base PS5 modes, so you're stuck. Right, like you can't like, oh, well, something's wrong here. Let me switch back to performance mode. Right, you're like stuck and it's not running well. Yeah. Yeah, the developers have all acknowledged that they're looking into it. It's not an indictment of the Pro. Everybody is so down bad about the Pro, so desperate and pathetic that they're like acting like a couple of games pushed out bad patches and that's an indictment of the device. It's like, guys are so pathetic, man. Just pathetic. Like, 60-some games, video after video after video from Digital Foundry being like, this thing's incredible, this game's incredible, look at the differences here, look at the performance here, and then like 1 or 2 games have bad patches and people are like, ah ha ha! It's like, it's just pathetic, dude. It's pathetic. It would be like reading the Stalker 2 reviews and hearing all the performance issues and being like, yep, Series X is a piece of trash console. No, it's clearly something with the game. It's clearly something with the game. As I said yesterday, I think Metaphor's story wasn't for me because it was very influenced by people not being equals. Like, I'm so fed up with that subject in reality. Also, don't like the press turns. Gene Park's banners on both platforms are just metaphor. Yeah, Gene really likes it, I guess. EA piggybacks off of anything that could make them a dime. Yeah, you've got to look at how Jedi Survivor was treated. You really do. You've got to look at how it was treated. It came out way too early. It took them 4 to 5 months to get performance mode to run well. It still doesn't run well on PC. And then they backwards compatible it and put it on old gen before even getting the PC version to run well. And then they push out a PS5 Pro patch that breaks things. And people are like, yep, PS5 Pro is a scam or whatever it is they're going to try to say. It's like, Jiminy Christmas. PS5 Pro doesn't help FF16. It does help, but it doesn't remove it. Yeah. It doesn't remove it. I played Final Fantasy 16 on the PS5 Pro, and when I'm not in combat, it's tolerable. It really is. It's in like the 50s. It's noticeable. Right? You can totally tell that it's running better, but you can still go, like, I went back to town when you're in like the ship, and it was like night and day from when I was on the PlayStation 5. It was night and day, but then we went to the area that was like known for being a problem. It's like you're on these bridges and there's water and there's NPCs everywhere, and that area was still pretty bad. It hasn't been patched yet, so it's just running better because the Pro is stronger. I don't know if FF16 is ever going to get a patch. I'm extremely disappointed in how Square treated that game. They went on this press circuit, and you had Yoshi P talking about how this is going to show off the power of the PS5, and then they used FSR1, and they take away dynamic res, and they don't give you 60 FPS in the performance mode whenever you're not in combat. I'm like, what the frick? Like, it's super frustrating. Yeah, it still has frame issues. I'm so irritated with them about how they treated that game. I was having such a great time, but it's just like the minute you're not in combat, it looks like a slideshow. Now, I will likely be able to go back and finish it on the Pro and just push through those areas because they're way more tolerable now. It's not nearly as bad as it once was, and the combat just feels so dadgum good. But I got to finish Veilguard, then I got to finish Space Marine 2. We got Stalker 2 coming out. We got Indiana Jones coming out. I'm playing through Lego Horizon with my son. He really likes it. I already know why people sort of fell off with that game. Like, the way they structured and paced it, it's like, yeah, you guys should have maybe paced this a little bit differently. You keep going back to the same area and getting in very similar fights in the beginning. And it wasn't until we opened up the new area that I was like, okay, I get what they're doing. It's fun. My son likes it. He's having a good time. But they paced that game in a way where I'm like, yeah, this is why people were pretty critical of it. It's not paced all that well. Not even as like a Lego game. Oh, it's not a Lego game. It just isn't paced very well. You retread the same area too many times too close together, and then the encounters are so identical. I thought we messed something up. I literally thought we messed something up. I was like, didn't we just do this? Like, did it not save? And it was a new mission. That's how similar they were. I was like, Am I old man status here? Did we accidentally replay something? Yeah, okay, so according to Reddit, the new Portal update has fixed the micro stutter. You may have heard how the Portal had a micro stutter since launch. Many people could see it or felt it was good enough, but many other people couldn't unsee it, or they heard about it and they avoided purchase. With the update last night, which also added the cloud gaming, the remote play micro stutter is officially gone. If you have any frame drops now, it is purely tiny network drops. I was told by a little birdie that they were bringing really, really big updates to Portal that were going to make it a better device. It was going to run better. They've been consistently making it run better, and then they just added cloud, and I knew that was coming. It's coming. I knew that was coming because, number one, it was easy to predict. Number two, I had a source tell me that it was coming. So it was like, okay, yeah, this isn't hard to see. You know, it wasn't hard to see. It wasn't. And Stone Spire bumps the line to 260. He likes to round it out there, making it tempting for somebody to drop a gifted bomb. Guys, take a quick second and smash that like button. Double check. Sometimes it doesn't save your like. Let's try to hit 300 likes as the next milestone. That helps out the video, and it's totally free to press the like button. Have you ever felt the itch to try turn-based because the stories are praised? No. No. See, when I get connected to a story, gameplay is an immense catalyst of that. Ghost of Tsushima is a really good example of this. When I had to duel my friend, the guy with the straw hat, when I had to duel him and beat him, and it was tough and it was challenging, I think that might be the first duel in the game. Actually, it might be the first official duel. Don't check me on that. I might be wrong. I haven't played that part of the game in such a long time because I've played every square inch of that game, but I haven't had a chance to do a fresh playthrough. There is so much behind that. And a 5-bomb from Belphegor. He sets up the 10-bomb dunker. Let's see if he can pass the baton to somebody else. 275 is the next milestone. Thank you, Belphegor. If you guys got a gifted member from Belphegor, be sure to say thank you. You now get access to all my extra content as well as my Discord. Welcome in. Cloud is great for the Portal, but I would rather pay a separate fee for Cloud instead of buying PS Premium for games I already own. I totally hear that. I think that's valid. I think that's valid to want more of control over the purchase and what you can play. I think that's valid. I would have preferred Sony put in a lesser upgrade on the GPU and gave it a better CPU. I've always felt the GPU and the CPU would be upgraded lock-in step. I think the main focus was PSSR, and that's why they were able to ignore the CPU, and we've seen great results from it. I get where you're coming from, but I think that gets overstated by folks who are fixating on raw power. Raw power is not, even the guy from Dying Light, the developer from Dying Light was like, raw power upgrades, PSSR is probably going to be more pivotal than that. Belphegor with 11-month renewal. Wish you and your family a great Thanksgiving next week. Yo, thank you so much, guys. As a reminder, that does bump the line to 266. As a reminder, I will be out of town next week. I will be out of town next week, but we're gonna do a big send-off this Friday night. Hilly returns for Hilly Hijinks, so make sure you're here for it. We have to hit the member goal to do it. I think we're going to hit the member goal no problem, and then we'll have some stretch goals. We will have some stretch goals as well. And then you can make me and Hilly do painful stuff, frustrating stuff. That's always the thing. That's always the goal. Make us suffer. And a $10 super chat tip, moving the super chat goal along. Thank you, Charitard. That's a name. Sony buying Kadokawa would further entrench activism in Western localization. Altering dialogue for modern audiences only contorts the original translation, infringing on Japanese creative liberty. Good Lord. I am not able to engage in that discussion with you. I was told that people thought the new multicasting on Crunchyroll was great. I've not heard what you're talking about. This is Murphy with 2 months. Lona, did you enjoy turn-based RPGs as a kid, or did you avoid them? I avoided them. My brother loved Final Fantasy. My brother loved Super Mario. Super Mario RPG I liked, and FF7 I liked, but generally I didn't play them. Yeah. I liked Child of Light as well. Those are the 3 turn-based games, and then Pokemon on my Game Boy Color. but I usually don't. I usually don't stick with them. I usually run out of gas. Because the harder the fights, the longer they last, and they're just not my vibe. So, you're never getting away from the premium sub, says Eugene. They're not going to give you cloud service for free. The real update will be when you can play the games you've bought. Yeah, I kind of agree with what Eugene is saying. Being able to cloud stream games that I own, so I'm not limited to the PS Plus premium library that they have offering right now. It's a pretty good amount. It's a pretty good amount. We're happy to say that Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is Steam Deck verified. Nix's software just said that. So, let me just show you guys how it works. Let's see here. I'm going to show you guys how it works here. Limbs. Yeah, that's on my wish list. Looks like it'd be a pretty funny co-op game for Friday. Yeah, you guys can make us play Limbs on Friday night. We'll make that one of the goals. We got to hit that 500 first, though. Pokemon Yellow is goated. Liquid Smoke with a... hang on. Liquid Smoke with a $2 super chat tip. Thank you very much. And Belphegor with another 5-bomb gets us even closer to the next milestone, 271. I'll owe you guys something real quick. So this is what it looks like now. Whenever you guys, whenever you go in, and so you just tap this little circle right here, and then you just go in to the cloud. So this is instead of going into my PlayStation. So if I would have picked the other thing, it would have gone to my PlayStation. So you can see the two games I've most recently played, and then if I want to, whoops, wrong joystick. If I want to, I can scroll down through the list of all available games on cloud. That's what this is. It's actually a pretty good amount of games that you can pick from to play. So all of these are available. So let's just pick one to show you how it works. Let's pick here. AC Valhalla is a game that probably has a cloud save for me, right? So I click it, and then I click down here in the corner to play the game. There we go. It usually takes about 20 seconds to get in. So right now we're at an hour 11 and 20. So we should be in about an hour 11 and 40. So we'll see. We'll see how long it takes. It's been about 10 seconds. So far, whenever I've tested this out, it takes about 20 seconds to get in, roughly. So we are now at the 20-second mark. There we go. Bingo. It's pretty consistent. It's pretty consistent. About 20 seconds, and then the game is loading. Now, the game obviously still has to load, but the game opens at about 20 seconds, which is not too bad at all. I don't think I have to hit... Do I have to hit anything here? I think this is just like a... Yeah, that was just like one of those like seizure warning things. I'm getting a portal just for the cloud gaming. So you are limited to the games that I scrolled through. You do need PS Plus. So I believe I have a save in this game. So I will be able just to boot up here and show you guys. I'll do a little spin test just so you can see. It's a 1080 screen. Okay, hang on a second. I need to be able to see what I'm doing here. Give me 1 second. It's checking for add-ons. So some of this is going to be dependent upon like UB servers. This is not what we're dealing with now. Has nothing to do with the cloud. Sometimes these games just take a while to get in. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I'm just all of a sudden I'm in the game because that's where I have it last saved. So Valhalla just says checking for add-ons. This might not have been a good game to showcase. Okay, here we go. Let me go up here to continue. Okay, so now we're in. Again, loading of every game is different. Remnant 2 took 0 time to get in. Tsushima took 0 time to get in. Valhalla's pretty beefy game, pretty heavy game. There we go. I'm standing against a wall. Here, let me go outside. There you go. See if we can't get the camera to focus. Oh, it's gonna be messing up because of the light balance. Hang on 1 second. All right, I turned the light balance off on the camera. There you go. So it's not an OLED, it's an LCD, and the 60 frames, I get consistent frames. Oh gosh, this isn't inverted. And then if you want to exit, you just slide out the screen. Hang on, that's not the right thing. It's mimicking the touchpad. Hang on. You slide out the screen. I think you have to do it up at the top. There we go. Slide out the screen. Don't do it down to the bottom like I just did. You slide out the screen, and then I would just tap right here, and then I can tap close game, and it'll close it. That's it. And then Tsushima, I click on Tsushima again. It's going to take us roughly 20 seconds. I tapped on that at what, like 15:06. So it's now been... Let's see. It's been 10 seconds just now. I'll read your super chat in just a second. It's been 10 seconds and now, and it's going to be 3, 2, 1. We've now hit 20 seconds. This was going to take a little bit longer this time. It's been roughly 20 seconds every time. So now we're going to take 30 seconds. There we go. So 30 seconds. I don't think that's bad for cloud. There you go. You know? All right, I got some people to thank. Charitar with a $5 super chat tip says, a good example would be some of the more recent Trails series of games, editing dialogue in a way that misrepresents the conversations and the characters. I'm never a fan of that. Excuse me. I am never a fan of that. So if that's happening, you have every right to complain that stories and dialogue have been changed. Art should not be censored or edited. We shouldn't be going back to old books and doing the same thing. Like people were trying to do that with like To Kill a Mockingbird. It's like, that's a terrible thing that people said back then. Leave it in. It's a representation of the time. It's accurate. It's honest. It's raw. Like, stop this. Okay, I got some gifted to thank. Raphael, and then 3 from Stone Spire. There it is. That's 4, and we've hit 275, and I now owe you guys 5. Alex Mercer with a $2 super chat says, Prototype or Infamous could be one of the games on the cloud. I'm not sure. Now considering getting a Portal. Yeah, so... And again, to close it, you want to slide out up here, and then I just tap there, and then I just say close the game. I'm trying to do this through the camera. There we go. Just like that. By the way, guys, if you're going to super chat to help with the super chat goal, it does have to be $5 or higher, because I do gift in response to that. So that's how we do that. You can basically gift members through me. So there you go. Little demo of the PlayStation Portal. I call it a PlayStation 5 Lite because you can buy that now for $200, and you do not need to own a PlayStation 5. And there's the 5 members that I owe you. The Stalker devs have posted a tweet here, and they said, it feels utterly surreal to say, but Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is out now. That's totally wild. So was the whole development story. Despite all odds, it's here. Our biggest game, our own story, our love letter to Ukraine. After more than 15 years, the door to the zone are opened once again. This is a very important, very exciting, and very memorable day for all of us. Stalker is meaningful in its own way for each fan. We hope that those who have been familiar with the universe for a long time will immediately feel at home and recognize the very same Stalker. For all newcomers, we hope you immerse yourselves in the magical, alien, and all-powerful zone, and feeling its unique emotions will stay with us for a long time. This is a project of endless love and passion from the entire team. We genuinely believe that this is felt throughout. You'll feel it in the handcrafted world. You'll feel it in the laboratory and in the poppy fields, or during the first emission or intense battle with the bloodsucker, or the stylish reload of your new gun, or first seeing Pripyat under the moonlight. There are so many things in the game that we are incredibly proud of. Nevertheless, Stalker 2 is a massive game. We understand that in such a game there may still be some rough edges. We literally haven't released anything of this scale before. We're absolutely committed to being here, monitoring your feedback, and quickly fixing any issues that need our attention. In the first days after release, we'll be working with hot fixes, rolling them out precisely as possible, but as frequently as we can. Then we'll switch to larger updates that include constant improvements. There will also be free in-game content. We'll share its roadmap later in December. We have big plans for Stalker universe. In a way, today is both a return and the beginning of a grand new journey. We are blessed to have you. We were blessed to have you before. We're blessed to have you now. The zone belongs to you. Have fun. So that's heartfelt. I don't feel like that's damage control. I think they're admitting that, hey, we're going to try and get some of this stuff to run better. They're obviously admitting that the game has some issues. It does. We will be checking it out. We will be checking it out in about an hour. So we've got plenty to talk about still. I demoed the PlayStation Portal. We've talked about the Sony maybe buying FromSoft. There's 2 new PS5 Pro enhanced games today. The Callisto Protocol is the one that I'm really interested to see a Digital Foundry breakdown of. Very interested to see where that ends up. Is that the game launch that I heard Xbox effed up? Which game are you talking about? Stalker 2 just released today. You're getting a Portal right now. Some gamers get excited for Astrobot. Some get excited for Stalker. I'm in the latter group. And then some gamers get excited for both. I was excited for Astrobot. Loved every minute of it. Beat every single course. I haven't done the latest 2 time trials, though. But I have done everything else. And I've been excited for Stalker, too. You can be excited for both. Because I sure am. And if you guys got a gifted member from me or somebody else here, be sure to say thank you. We welcome you in. We hope you enjoy your stay. They built in a war zone. The gaming community could learn some compassion. Yeah, I don't think they're doing like damage control. I think they're acknowledging that the game has some rough edges. It doesn't have the greatest score right now, and most of that is being attributed to the rough edges of the game. 76 on OpenCritic, a 74 on PC Metacritic, and an 80 on Xbox, but it only has 14 reviews on Xbox. So Fortnite's permanent OG mode will have its own separate battle pass. OG mode permanent? Yeah, the original map is going to be permanent, Eugene. They said that. Yeah, I actually put that in one of the gaming news shows recently. They're bringing back the original map, and it's going to be permanent. You'll always be able to go play on it. Yeah. I want them to let me go on that original map and play no build first person. I would frickin' love that. Or at least just let me go to the OG mode and play no build. Still no pro enhancement patch for Silent Hill 2, and the one for Alan Wake 2 didn't do anything. What are they doing out here? What are you talking about? Alan Wake 2's PS5 Pro enhancement patch was incredible. Silent Hill 2's caused issues that they're trying to rectify. Yeah, I already have the game downloaded. I'll make sure that it doesn't have any more updates. I checked this morning. This Twitter account just put up a video with the heading PSP3 confirmed. Did you see that? You got to be careful with some of those accounts. They put up a lot of fan art that's total rumor. So I don't know. There's been a lot of rumors and a lot of like hullabaloo over the fact that PlayStation is in fact working on a handheld, like a bona fide successor to their original handheld that they did, that'll be able to install things and run things native. I don't know if anything's been confirmed, though. We'd have to double check. So if I'm living in a war zone, I'm not worried about game development. They should have waited to make the game instead of put it out in a rush. Well, I mean, they did, Joker Quinn. They delayed the game for like it's had like a year and a half worth of delays. I mean, my concern is that it needed another 6 months, and Xbox was like, listen, man, we need that thing. We need that thing to come out. I don't know how much pressure Xbox could put on them. But, there certainly could be, then off. There certainly could be a relationship there where, you could be dealing with, hey, like we've waited long enough. You got to get this thing out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much Xbox was involved in the publishing of it, or if they had anything to do with like paying for the development. It's hard to know. Graphics, performance, motion blur quality. You can't turn motion blur off. You can only turn it to low. Apply. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the game's ready to go on my Xbox. It'll probably need another 6 months, just like Lono said. The Portal has sold out. Yeah, Eugene said it last night. He said with this cloud update, you're gonna have a hard time getting your hands on them. So, finally answered my question. Oh, what did you ask me about the Lone Wolf? I didn't see if you asked me something. I don't know who. Moore's Law has leaked that it's confirmed. So you're telling me that the PSP3 we have reliable leaks about its existence? Yeah, I don't know if Xbox had anything to do with the publishing or the release date of Stalker, because it feels to me like, based on everything we're hearing, it needed another 6 months. So, which is unfortunate because we've waited all this time. I could have waited another 6 months so that it could land and get better review scores. Like, so many of the reviews. So many of the reviews are focusing on the performance issues. I asked you what platform you got on like 5 times. I had terrible luck with you seeing it. Oh, yeah. It's installed on my Series X. And a 20 bomb from MASH. This man's insane. He just set up somebody to grab some real easy glory. A 5 bomb from Stonespire. There it is. The tag team partners. Stonespire's usually the one setting them up, and then MASH knocks them down. But the roles are reversed as we've secured 300 members already on the week. Thank you so much, MASH and Stonespire. Yo, what's good, Bellix? How are you? The people reviewing low-key may just be broke fools that just want to find something to cry about. What? Wolf, what are you talking about? The people reviewing Stalker 2 are... What? Wait, clarify what you're talking about, Wolf. What are you saying that people are reviewing that are they're broke and want something to cry about? What are you specifically talking about? They pushed back Avowed for this. They definitely had some say over the release dates. Tired but happy and good? What you winking for? What you winking for after saying that? And a 5 bomb from Joker Quinn. That's a pretty good setup. That's a 20 bomb setup from Joker Quinn. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. We need somebody to start taking these big bomb dunkers away from Matt. Somebody else has got to do it. Joker Quinn, that's a great setup. Thank you. Has he clarified what he was talking about? Yeah, Wolf. Wolf, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Stalker 2 reviews? Portal's codename was the Q Lite, which always left the door open for a full handheld. Oh, right. It's the Q Lite, and then the actual Q would be the real deal. And Mass says, okay, I won't take the glory. He does a 5 bomb, and he bumps the line to 310. Mash is so ornery. He, won't let it. It's like, if there are any other big dogs in the room, he's just like, no, I'm not going to let him. I love it. They could be running the game on crap rigs, crap connections. Just go and say it's bad. Wolf, I want you to listen to me now. These outlets that reviewed this game, they review games for a living. They're not booting up Stalker 2 on some busted rig and being like, yeah, 2 out of 5 stars. It sucks. the guy that reviewed it for like VGC, I guarantee you that he's not running some busted rig. And Patrick Q with a gifted, and Rich Rod with a gifted. That's it, boys. Link arm in arm. We don't need the big bombs. You can single gift your way to greatness. The guy that did the review for VGC, I'm having a hard time believing. It looks like VGC updated their... Did they update their... Or am I on the I'm on the Xbox page. Hang on. I have a really hard time believing that VGC was like, yeah, boot up that 1080 rig and let's see how this Stalker 2's running. Hang on, this is Digital Trends. They also gave it a bad score. Digital Trend gave it a 40. And Stone Spire with a gifted member. I know what Stone Spire's going to do. If he hits another one, he's trying to attempt a 10 bomb. I bet you he takes us to 315. There he goes. I knew it. This guy's calculated. I'm taking it to 315. I know what he's going to do. He's going to take it all the way. Let's see if VGC says what kind of a rig they ran it on. He talks about how there's some pretty big patches. There should be a day 0 patch. Thank you again, Stone Spire, setting up the 315 to 325 Dunker and VIP renewal from Hex. Makes it an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much. Down with the Sony acquisition of Kadokawa and all their properties. Oh. I'm looking to see if VGC said anything about the kind of rig that they ran it on. They didn't. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll never believe reviews. They're just opinions of some random online. Kelswiss with a VIP bumps it to 317, but then it's going to go up to 322 because MASH comes in with another 5 bomb, and Kelswiss renews and says, hey, Lono, if the PSP3 rumors are true, do you think it would use PSSR to achieve decent performance while also maintaining form factor and price? I think it's a no-brainer. Wait. Zubair, Wheezy, my other tech guys, could you put PSSR in a handheld? Like, what size of the hardware do you think that is? Like, it's a proprietary piece of hardware, isn't it? Do you think that was part of the plan here? And a single from Melrose Mike takes it to 323. And Stone Spire's going to take it to 324. Alapark says, I can't find anything about the PSP3. I mean, just for the sake of the discussion, could you put PSSR into a handheld? Paul says yes. And another single. There it is. 325. I owe you guys 10. And I'm going to do it now before I forget. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do the 10 now. I'll probably end up having more to do. I like saving some for when we do gameplay. I'll gift some when we do gameplay as well. Zubair says, yes, the same way DLSS will be on the Super Switch. I thought PSSR was software. No, it's a proprietary piece of tech. Like, it's on the GPU, isn't it? It's not just software. It's proprietary hardware that runs the PSSR. It could be possible if you could fit Tensor cores in a Nintendo Switch, then it's the same principle, meaning the Switch 2 would have DLSS like we've heard. That's what they should do, is tell us what rigs they use. Listen. Wolf and the other guy that was saying, like, I don't care about these reviews, they're just random online, right opinions. Let me ask you something. Have you ever celebrated good reviews of a game you were looking forward to? Because if you had, then be quiet. Just take a seat and be quiet. If you've ever celebrated good reviews of a game, then don't come in and be dismissive of bad reviews and act like, what, these guys have an agenda? You think VGC and Digital Trends and Games Radar and thegamer.com and Deserto, you think all these platforms are like, what, they're out to get Stalker? They're out to be mean to Xbox and they're running games on bad PCs? They review games like this all of the time. They're not constantly coming to the market and saying, yep, game's bad, glitchy, buggy, bad. Like they're all running like busted rigs. Stop. Like, come on. These reviews are clearly legitimate. There's a clear pattern. Even Xbox Era said that it has rough edges. I'm saying reviews just have opinions. Homie, bugs and glitches are not opinions. Like, that's not an opinion. They're not like, yeah, it's buggy and glitchy and there's performance issues. That's not an opinion. That's them relaying information to you. And the agent of chaos is Raphael. He bumps us to 326. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm hoping that the Day Zero patch fixes the issues in Stalker 2. But if you want to sit here and dismiss these reviews as like, well, they were probably on bad rigs, or, oh, that's just their opinion. Man, you gotta chill. There's clearly something going on with this game. It's clearly not ready. What if I like glitches and poor performance, huh? Did you consider that? I literally said people who trash on games. They're not trashing on the game, though. You're gonna broad brush 47 reviews, 47 different outlets, 47 different people, and you're like, yeah, they're just trashing. No, they're not. I missed a 5-bomb? Oh my gosh, Belphegor with the 5-bomb that he had to remind me about. I am so sorry, Belphegor. My name isn't real with 8 months of memberships. Not all of Ukraine is at war. People forget how big Ukraine is. To say that it developed at a war zone is wrong. Parts of Ukraine are safe to live. Listen. We're not debating that. They had to leave where they were because it wasn't safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in Kentucky. If suddenly Kentucky was invaded and I had to move to Texas, and I kept streaming, and you're like, yeah, but I mean, technically, you shut the frick up. These guys had to pack it up and leave because they were in danger. Like, well, technically, come on. I always get spicy, babe. Stop that. They literally went to a different country. That's what I'm saying. They were in danger. They had to leave. Good golly. Yeah, they could have still made a good game, bro. Like, come on. Oh, my word. Gillup's review of Stalker 2, he told us his PC setup and it's a monster and he was having problems. Right. The only YouTuber who's talking about the PSP3 is TCMF, and apparently new info has come out on the timeline production Q2 of 2026. Oh, well, that's so far out. Who cares? If it's not next year, I'm not concerned. That's too far. That's too far away. I'm not talking about Stalker. I'm saying personally, I will never look at reviews because most games I've played and enjoyed have been crapped on by these so-called reviewers. You liked Redfall, didn't you? I'm just kidding. I'm just having fun with you, bro. Listen. You enjoy what you want to enjoy, okay? If you've beat Redfall 18 times and you think it's a masterpiece, man, more power to you. If you've played through Hellblade 2 18 times, ignore me and my feedback. You do you, boo-boo. That's not what we're talking about. Coming to a review roundup stream and being like, well, reviews don't matter. Okay, we think they're a helpful approximation of a game's quality, especially when you can have clear documentation of bugs, glitches, and performance issues. That's helpful to the consumer to know whether or not they should proceed. As I did this morning, I told you to avoid Towers of Agasba. It has entered early access on Steam and PlayStation, and it's getting poor review scores. It is clearly in a rough state. That's one benefit and one risk of early access, is you'll spend $30 on a game and it is in bad shape. And maybe they can get better, and maybe they can polish it, and maybe they can listen to the community and the feedback. But like, that was me relaying reviews from users to you, and you can say that's worthless. I think that's foolish. I think you're being foolish. I come to you and I tell you The review score of Towers of Agasba on PlayStation and Steam are bad. Here is what users are reporting. Well, I don't listen to the opinions of other people. I just play games and enjoy. Listen to me now. You're talking like a fool. That is helpful information that could potentially save you money and frustration. And I did that this morning. I tried to do that as a service to the viewer. Like, listen, man, we were looking forward to this one. This one sounded cool. It looks cool. Trailers look awesome. And this is what people are reporting. Hold off on this one. Save your money. Or buy it for the $30 on Steam and help provide feedback to the devs, and hopefully it can improve. Proceed with your eyes wide open. I think that that's a fair and helpful outlook on reviews. Noberto says, one of my mechanics for the season was a kid from Ukraine that thankfully wasn't in the middle of the war but still had to relocate. His family still needs to be on high alert day to day, and they struggle to live day by day because of the issues caused by the war. GTFO with the brain dead take about the whole country not being at war. Yeah. That comment about Ukraine is getting smacked down, deservedly so. Oh, hang on, I gotta schedule the stream. Hang on. I got to schedule the gameplay stream. We're going to go to the gameplay stream in about 40 minutes. You guys got still time to talk, to chop it up, to renew your memberships, to gift memberships, to hit that super chat goal. We're 4 out of 10 on the super chat goal. I set the time limit as high as I could make it so that we wouldn't have to reset it. And that way, again, I know some of you guys prefer super chatting over gifting members. You can gift through me. You can do it. I know some of you prefer that. You like putting little messages in chat. We greatly appreciate you doing that. I am going to schedule the stream, though. That way people can be properly notified that it's coming. Let's see. There we go. Boom, boom. And we'll set it for 12:30. We'll probably only be able to play for about an hour, though. 17 months from Magic Dolphin. He bumps the member goal to 332. Thank you guys so much. Is there a way for us to make that a GIF? Is there a way for us to make that a GIF in the server? Add to favorites. So now, how do I get to my favorites? Yeah, Eugene, put a little star on that GIF that Lone Wolf just did, and when you go to do animated GIFs in Discord, it'll be in your favorites. When I put in that the PS Portal was getting Cloud in the Discord, Eugene was like, "Where's the GIF? Where is it?" Oh man, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun, you know. That clip will live in infamy. It's hilarious. It's become a full-on. You can't favorite on mobile. Oh, well, hang on a minute. Are you sure? Maybe. What if you hold down on it? Does it let you do it if you hold down? There's got to be a way. You can save the image. I could pin it. Yeah, that's unfortunate that you can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Eugene. Tap on it. Tap on it so that it goes full screen like this, and then up in the right-hand corner, there's a star. Yeah, I tapped on the image. It's now full screen, and then I tapped on the star. It's added to favorites. You can do it on mobile. There we go. Click it and then top right. Yep, there you go. Fuzzy and Sven are helping you out. You can do it on mobile. Same thing with early access. It's buggy, but the player base is holding. No star for me. Skill issue. Yeah, that's a skill issue. Star's not there because you suck. I don't know. I would just uninstall Discord and delete your account. You probably either need a new phone or new fingers. I'd go to the doctor. I'm going to get my son a Portal now for Christmas. Great value. Right, Paul? Especially if you're already paying for PlayStation Plus Premium. Holy smokes. Towers of Agasba crashed on trying to start a game until late last night when the new patch came in. They had a rough day. Yeah, I told people this morning to hold off. I was like, you're going to want to hold off on this Towers of Agasba game. Yeah. Where does this coming meme come from? There was a content creator that I'm not going to name because whenever somebody decides to attack me personally and publicly call me a predator, you become one of the nameless. You're scum to me, so I'm not going to say your name and passively promote you, but I'll laugh at your absolute foolishness and stupidity. During I believe it was Gamescom, right? It was Gamescom. They had this huge Indiana Jones thing. And Indiana Jones reveals it, and this guy's like, yeah, no PlayStation. And they're like, but we have one more thing. And they announce it coming to PlayStation. And so he goes from being like, yeah, no PlayStation to saying, it's coming, I knew it. So in a matter of 30 seconds, he looks like the absolute tool bag that he is. And it's like, we all knew it was going to happen. We kept saying that it was going to happen. Folks like that use their platforms to make it personal, attack me, call me names, slander me. So I like watching somebody make a fool of themselves because you're not committed to truth and integrity. You're committed to being nasty, and then hopping on tweets about me from people who obsessively clip me and attack me and stalk me and harass me just shows your character. And then he called me a predator. So it's like, I now know the kind of man that you are. Zero respect, and you're now one of the nameless. So once somebody gets into that category, I won't even acknowledge their existence. But we will certainly laugh and enjoy the meme of, it's coming. If you guys ever make it, you make it to morning coffee. You want to be a member and you want to make it to morning coffee because sometimes we have a little joke with that on the starting screen. So a great reason to become a member. So yeah, he said no PlayStation, and then he swore, and then they announced that it was coming 20 seconds later. The best part about it was the podcast with Phil Spencer, where he was like, just 4 games, and she's like, are those 4 games Indiana Jones or Starfield? And he's like, no, those 4 games are not Indiana Jones or Starfield. And then everybody came at me and was like, see. It was like, and I tried to tell him, I was like, it's always about what Phil doesn't say. And then Indiana Jones gets announced for PlayStation 5 4 or 5 months later. So they all deserve it. They deserve the egg on their face. They deserve to look like clowns because that's what they are. I watched this guy today called This. I've never laughed at someone so hard whining over a video game. What video game was he whining about? And what was his issue? I thought that was from The Quiet Place Friday night. Well, yeah, I died because the microphone in the controller was on, and when you say something, the microphone picks it up, but there's like a second of latency. So I said it, I unpaused the game, and then it registered my voice. I was like, it's coming, and then I unpaused the game, and then the monster heard me, and it came and it killed me. It was hilarious. That's a great reason to be a member. That's a great reason to tune in on Friday nights. We have some drinks, we play some games, and it's hysterical. And this Friday night is the return of Hilly Hijinks. You guys got to hit the goal, which looks like you're going to, and then we'll have some stretch goals. You can make us play some pretty painful, awful games that night. It'll be wonderful. With Stalker 2 being a disappointment, what are your meta predictions for Indy? My personal prediction was that I thought Stalker was going to land stronger than Indy. Based on the previews and the people that were kind of on Indy, they were like, it looks like Indy, feels like Indy, but then they were like, it's an awful lot of stealth. This person popped up on my YouTube recommendations. They were clipping you out of context. Yes, that's what they do. They're, you know, if you want to engage with content like that, that's your choice. But yeah, I don't have any respect for people that do that. They are committed to dishonesty and hate. So I don't engage with or respect boys. They're just a bunch of boys. I think I might have seen a game for Friday night. It's called Beast Inside. Yeah, if you guys have recommendations for games this Friday night for me and Hilly, you can bring that to the writer's room. Yeah. Any invited guests coming? I think we're going to shop that for the new year. I love this format. Like, there's so much flexibility with pivoting the talk show to gaming news today. I was able to just throw in the Portal announcement and throw in the update about Sony and Kadokawa. I was able to do that, and I wasn't able to do that in the past when we were like rigidly on one topic for the talk show. Like, we've been able to evolve this show in a matter of just like months to something that I've wanted to do for years. I've always wanted to do like a variety gaming channel, a variety gaming news show, and I could never do it. When I was tied to Destiny, I couldn't do it. When we tried to break from Destiny, I couldn't do it. So we always had to do single topic. Just in the last month or 2 months, we've completely evolved into a variety gaming news show, and that's just so much freedom. And you guys, the turnout has been incredible. The response has been overwhelming. So with this freedom, I've been entertaining the idea of saying, hey, for the last 45 minutes of the show, I'm going to bring on a guest. Whenever we were trying to do separate segments with a guest, it just wasn't working that well. I think we were hitting the channel with too much content. I also think people leave because they're like, well, I want to talk with Lono. I want to interact with Lono. Well, if it's a tack on at the end of the show where you're typically losing viewers anyway, it makes good sense. We can promote somebody that we like. I would love to have on someone like, because we were only able to do it on like Fridays, right? And a lot of the times Doc Dark couldn't come on. I'd love to have him on sometimes. We've talked with Purple Haze about having her on. Somebody that is the boyfriend of Queen. What's her name? I subscribe to her. Queen, there's a number after her name. Queen something 22, I think. We're going to get into contact with the Queen G22. There's also just people like Porter Rock and others that I think would be so fun. 30 and So Gaming, we haven't had him on in a while. So I would love to bring that to this environment. So I think we're going to shop that, think through how to do that, and start reaching out to people. And then in the new year, maybe try and slot, maybe we could test it out in December. Because I love the idea. I love having conversations with other creators. I do. It just was really, really difficult. We would do a separate show, and it would get terrible. Most of the time, it would just get terrible viewership. Get this person back? No, he's another unnamed. I don't do anything with him. But wanting to have on people that I like and I respect, like 30 and Still Gaming or Purple Haze or others, I think could be really, really fun. Yeah, Detective Seeds is another one that I would want to have on. Porter Rock's trash, is my opinion. Actually, probably is a fact. He's not. He's one of those guys that has leaned heavily into the persona and loving Sony, and I don't have a problem with that. Same with Doc. Doc Dark is totally leaning into the persona and the character. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. It's fun to have on different people. It really, really is. Stalker 2 versus reality. The power of the Unreal Engine. Oh, are they taking like real life pictures and doing side by sides? Yeah, it looks really impressive. It really does. Have MASH on the show. He's nameless now. I thought y'all were cordial. No. Anybody that wants to drudge up the stuff from 2020 and wax eloquent and self-righteous about what I should or shouldn't have done, and also wants to assign some level of guilt to me, they can piss all the way off. I want nothing to do with people like that. No respect for you, and you don't know what you're talking about. I have no desire. You know, and then he was on a thread with that other guy who called me a predator. They're the nameless now. No respect. I don't have any respect for people like that. After everything I've been through, you just immediately are banished to the Shadowlands. I don't care to interact with or hear from them or think about them. So, and I really haven't until this moment because people are asking. I just move on. I have a perfectly happy and great life with friends and community outside of this. I don't need people like that. I don't. I have very awesome men in my life whom I respect that get to speak into my life with wisdom and discernment. The last thing I'm going to do is entertain the whimsical stupidity of a boy. I just don't care. We didn't even make a big thing out of it, Brooklyn. It was I just very quietly did that. People talk with authority about things that they weren't a part of. Yeah, it's just, yeah. There were some people that tried to help and tried to make that not happen, but it became like inevitable. The good news is there are plenty of great people we can do stuff with. Like, we don't need to get hung up on, like, well, why not this person or why not that person? There is an ocean of great, respectable, nice, cordial people. And even if you don't like their opinions, I think we can make fun and entertaining content with people that don't think the way that I think or that don't agree with me. I think we can have some fun. And we can make some good content because that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to do. So, I had no idea what he said about Xbox in particular. Figure program is my problem. Lono stays consistent, even though we often don't agree. Yeah, I mean, I've made it very, very clear. Like a good example would be the PlayStation acquisition of FromSoft, right? The guys that would be okay with you calling them a pony, they're like, oh, this is great, right? They're like, yep, Sony's going to get a game of the year no matter what, because with the Shadow of the Erd Tree thing. And they're just out there being ponies. And I'm like, no, I'm not okay with this. I don't want this to happen. Sorcerer says, I did my part voting and I noticed that No Man's Sky got a nomination for community support. I didn't notice that during the event. Yeah, I was irritated that No Man's Sky got for community support, but they didn't get nominated for ongoing game. What they've done just this year is insane. The stuff they've added to No Man's Sky, I don't know how No Man's Sky didn't get a nomination for best ongoing game. I really don't. I was disappointed that they only got the community support nomination. So, I personally enjoy when you have a good guest on the show. Yeah. I'd be a queen. She might not be a complete gamer like us. That's the point. Is it takes all kinds, and so I'd love to have somebody like that on, who's for a complete different background, just to interview them and be like, how'd you get into YouTube? How is it going down for you? How did you get into content creation? What's the first game you've ever played? Like, those types of interviews are so enjoyable. And then you have somebody like Doc Dark on. And I'll make fun of him for having a Walmart PC, and he'll make fun of me for having 2 PS5 Pros. And there's no malice in it, right? He's a friend. Like, that could be fun. He's giving me grief. He was giving me grief this morning on Twitter, and I was giving it right back to him. I think there's a way to banter that's not so mean-spirited, and I just think there's a lot of people that don't see that, and they cross that line. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this too long to put up with your shenanigans. Come April, I'll be doing this content creator thing for a decade, and I just don't have time for the maliciousness and the immaturity. I'm 43, and I've got better things to do with my time and energy. I just do. Yeah, I would love to have Jaffe back on. Jaffe is a freaking blast. He's a blast, and we would disagree on so much. It would be wonderful. Doc will outsing you though. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna try and sing. He can sing. He can sing. Same with the console wars. It's just sports style back and forth ribbing. That's cool, but people take it way too far. Yeah, they do. Guys, in about 20 minutes, we're going to be diving into Stalker 2 gameplay. So don't go anywhere. You've got time. We need... Is the timer still going? Yeah, you've got time. I set the longest time on the super chat goal. If we get 6 more super chats, I have to add 5 to the total. You can literally gift through me. You can make me add to the total. That's the only way I ever add to this total is through the super chatters. So thank you, super chatters. The rest of you can renew your memberships. If you are at Member Plus or VIP, your renewals count. If you upgrade or if you sign up brand new for Member Plus or VIP, it counts as 2. I count those as 2 because that's the biggest thing we want right now. I love MASH and all the gifters. They keep this engine running. You people that gift and pay for your own memberships, you keep the thing running, okay? We need folks to step up and grab that Member Plus. It's $6. That is how we do this. I don't run ads during the show. It's too disruptive. We are able to do this full time because of your support. Yeah, I am going to play Stalker 2. Yeah, I already checked. I don't need a patch. We're hearing that the Day Zero patch significantly improves some of the issues, so we're going to check it out. We'll probably play for about an hour. That's typically what I do with gameplay. I play for about an hour, and then we'll bounce to Writer's Room. I do have to make a video for tomorrow. So, Jerry A., when somebody has a white badge and they gift, that's one of my favorites, right? Harbinger says, oh, come on, my mama says I'm the funniest guy she know. Thank you, Jerry A., for gifting a member. When a white badge gifts, that's so encouraging. Somebody's catching the vision of what we do here. Thank you. Oh, and the super chats, they have to be $5 or higher. I do have to do that because I am going to spend my own money to gift. So that's you guys kind of giving in through me, if that makes sense. Didn't have enough to finish. No. And a 20 bomb from MASH. MASH says, we will keep the engine going. He loves it here. Jiminy Christmas. I now owe you guys 5 more members. I'll do it during gameplay. Any members I end up owing you from this stream, I've already paid up most of them. I will pay them in the gameplay stream. And Coyote Monsoon doesn't even have a badge and is gifting a member. That is remarkable. Pick up your own membership, Coyote. Don't just give one away. Jeepers. That's always interesting to me when somebody's like, I don't want a membership, but I'm going to give one to somebody else. That's so kind. And a single comes in from Stone Spire. I know what Stone Spire's doing. He's trying to daisy chain. We're now 20 away from the next milestone of 375. He's hoping that that someone will do the 20 bomb. That isn't MASH. Sony's in talks to buy FromSoft's parent company, report claims, and Charlie, old Moisty over there, says don't do it. I agree with Charlie. I agree with Penguins Zero. Nobody calls him that. I agree with Charlie. I don't want him to do it. It'd be awesome to have Colin Moriarty on. I love Colin. I think I love his content. I wish I had more time to watch it. Every time he starts going on a little rants, I'm like, my spirit animal. Yeah. If we get into a rhythm of having people on, I'll extend an invite. I'll have him on. I'd love to be on Sacred Symbols, but I'm not probably, I'm not sizable or known enough. You got to get to a pretty good size before you start getting invited to stuff, but we can invite people on and have a good time here. I think that's a good goal for next year. Benevolent Icon with a a 5 bomb takes us to 360. Thank you so much, Benevolent Icon. Good name. That's a good name. Let me close all stuff. PC Game Pass is still a really good price, so you get the best of both worlds. The people demand Doc again. I'll get Doc on here. I'll just say, this is the time slot I'm thinking. Pick a day. I think that's such a good format. Just like, yep, this is the time slot I can have you on. Just pick a day and come on, right? I'll probably just tell them like 11:45, I like calling, but those 6-hour podcasts are a little too much for me. Mostly end up watching the clips on Twitter. Well, I think because they have things monetized. Benevolent Icon with 25 months in a VIP. Thank you so much. I appreciate the fact that they give a mountain of value to people that are paying. It's a really, really good system. It is. There is something... There's a healthy amount of jealousy as a content creator to look at someone like that and be like, you have such a great support system, so many people that love your content, and you give them so much value. Like I do sometimes. I look at someone's sort of setup and I have like a healthy amount of jealousy for like, hey, good work, that's impressive. You know, I get where you're coming from. Like, it's hard to sit down and listen to it all, but don't be afraid of the 1.5. You know, don't be afraid of the 1.5. You can put my past broadcasts on to 1.5, and I speak in a way where it's still easy to understand me. Lord Finesse with 20 months bumps the line as well. Thank you so much. Since I found your channel, I've been spending more time here. Well, I appreciate that. I do. I try to create content that you walk away every day saying, that was well spent time, I'm going back. That's what I try to do. I've always thought the onus is on me to create as much value as possible so that when the show ends, you're like, man, that's how we craft the membership. It's like the show ends, but it doesn't end. You can hang with me roughly from 9 a.m. Eastern until about 3 p.m. Eastern. You can hang with me if you're a paying member. Sometimes you get to hang with me until about 6 p.m. Eastern if you're member plus and above. If you're a gifted member, you always get to hang with me from like 9 to roughly 3 o'clock every single day. So that's what we've been trying to kind of craft. I know the YouTube culture and paying for memberships and paying for content, I know that like 90% of the people that come to my channel are very averse to that. They're like, I'm not paying for extra content. So I try to set it up in a way where if you do, you more than get your money's worth. $6 for the month, and you get, you know, an extra 4 hours of content basically every day, Monday through Friday, and then even more on Friday night. So, and then after 3 p.m. you can actually get your work done, says Zubair. That's right. You can watch during work and the time flies. Yeah, a lot of people put me on during their work day. We call them worker lurkers. We have a work and lurk emoji for that reason. And a month from Jared just said this, you know, he's spending a lot of time here, says, I love Last Stand Media, but you're stealing my attention. Keep up the great streams. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. And that bumps the line to 363. Felt I've been here for 10 months. I love it so much, especially when you and your lady play games. Well, thank you. If you guys enjoy Friday nights, I appreciate that. This Friday night it'll be me and Hilly. If you guys have never been here for a Hilly hijinks stream, holy moly, they're hilarious. Guys, do me a favor. We're not leaving just yet. We got a little bit of time, and we're going to go play Stalker 2. Let me make sure that we're set up and ready to go for it. There we go. We are ready to go. We are ready to go. We'll be playing that in about 15 minutes. Do me a favor. If you haven't hit like yet, there are still a bunch of folks here. If you hit like, it helps this video. Even when I'm not live, it'll help people find this broadcast. So let's try to get to 400 likes. Brogan says, you alright? Stop gassing him. Lono gets more toasty with Hilly. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. We have fun. You playing on the Series X? I will be playing on the Series X, yes. Just found that. Do we have a pop in and out emote? No. What's that? Is that like when you come in and out of lurk? I don't have one for that, no. This stream is a psyop, by the way. In what way? In what way? I want to see this guy play Stalker 2. I never saw him play a game. You've never seen me play a game? You know what's funny is when people ask about what I do, that's what they think. They're like, man, you make money playing video games? I'm like, no, I make money talking. Like, my voice is how I earn a living. I don't earn a living with my gameplay. I'm not even that good. I'm serviceable. I can play a challenging game, and I can generally do okay. You know, I'm prone to getting frustrated. I'm prone to getting kind of complainy. I'm not known for my gameplay. I'm not. Oh, you're coming in and out between calls and work. Yeah. I have a hello. We have the Lono hello, which you can obviously use when you come back. That's like me waving. All those emotes are from when I had long hair. I really wish I could get that guy to reply to me. I love his emote style. I'd love to have all my emotes reworked with my, my Jimmy Neutron hair. Lono got his voice insured? No. It's a psyop because it makes me forget about all of the other psyops. That's right. Thanks for answering my chat, Reforge. You're a real one-man word? Oh, you're a real one, man. Word. Okay, no punctuation made that one tough for me. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you do not have to super chat to get my attention. You do not have to be a member to get my attention. It's just you're going to get into more content when you're a member. That's the main reason to become a member. You don't get more engagement from me. Sometimes non-members get more engagement than me because you stand out more. Your name isn't green. I mean that. I mean, sometimes non-members get more engagement from me. Work and Lurk is a classic. I forget to put in the chat. What's good, soldier? All right, guys, in 10 minutes, we're going to Stalker 2 gameplay, so stick around for it. I'll redirect you. I'll also provide you with a link as well. We love to showcase gameplay here. It's not the main offering on the channel. Never really will be. But we do like to showcase gameplay when it's new. Let you guys get a glimpse at it. Steven Marson said, unsubbing? Wait, what are you unsubbing for? Can't be having all this gameplay, bro. Punctuation's a sign that you're a boomer. That's right. Y'all see Half-Life 2 with Path Tracing Project? I have not seen that. No. I have not. The timing is crazy. Xbox marketing. Stream your own game with Game Pass Ultimate. Available for Game Pass Ultimate members today, starting with 50 games. Oh, Xbox is now added so you can play games that you own. They've finally done it. They've added 50. That was something I know. Jez Corden was really hitting him on that. I think it was like late last year, wasn't it? He was like, y'all said you were going to give us this feature. Where is it? We still can't play the games that we own. So they've added 50 games. So it looks like Xbox is answering back a little bit with with the cloud coming to the portal. Witcher 3 is there but not live just yet, says Paris Lily. I think he's trying to test it out. Star Wars Outlaws is going to be cloud. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Streaming Wars. I mean, more options, the better. The more options, the better. To me, it comes down to, I don't think it's good for your main entrance point. Right? I don't think it's good for the main entrance point. Like the whole this is an Xbox thing and the fact that... But you didn't sneeze? I muted. I don't think that's a good main way for somebody to engage. I just don't think so. This being additive is great. This being something that maybe somebody tries, I'm calling it a PlayStation 5 Lite. They buy it for $200. They cloud game for a while. They're like, yo, these games are hot. I'm going to get a PS5 to play on my home TV. Like, I don't think what Xbox is doing is a catalyst to the console. I feel like PlayStation does everything centered around the console. And I think that's the key. Is that's what I prize and value. Previous partner director. Oh, she's no longer there. Who is? I'm gonna have to DM her later about who's in charge of partnerships now. All right, guys, in 5 minutes, 5-minute countdown to when we go to Stalker 2 gameplay. Appreciate you guys so much. Probably should have gone earlier, but we were kind of vibing, and I like to let people kind of enjoy the remainder. I'll set the super chat goal for next stream at only 5 super chats, since you guys did get about halfway. So you can still super chat and make me gift. I'll honor the ones that have already. I can't move one goal into the next stream, but I will do that. I will do that, and then let me go ahead and let's tweet out here. Live. Go here and here, and then we'll also tweet and blue sky it up so that people can know. Let's see. A Fortnite Cyberpunk collab is going to happen soon. What would they just put like Cyberpunk characters in Fortnite? That seems like a really weird. No, I'm not trying to go to Bandai. You're going to pre-order Indiana Jones tonight? You're not going to even wait and see? You're just jumping in, huh? I don't know. Oh, yeah, and it seemed like when I used the full hyperlink from the address bar on Blue Sky, it seemed like you can just watch right there. Yeah, that looks so good. The way they embed it. It hasn't shown my newest tweet, or not tweet, I guess, post yet. I don't know if it's like delayed. Do they delay your posts over there? Yeah, it's not doing it with the Stalker 2 gameplay, though. Like, the way it embedded the link this morning looked so good. The list of 50 games is so weird, such an odd list. Well, Eugene, it's going to be a random list because the issue that they're running into with letting you cloud stream your games if you own them, it's a EULA thing. The EULA, the end user license agreement. A lot of these games, it's not in the EULA to allow you to cloud stream. So basically what these platforms are having to do, Xbox, PlayStation, and the like, they're having to go to these studios, publishers, and devs and saying, we need you to upgrade your EULA so that people that own your game can cloud stream through us. And that likely is not a fun negotiation because the company's like, well, why does that benefit us? That benefits you and your cloud service. It doesn't benefit. And then Microsoft's going to be like, well, we'll market you, we'll put you on this, we'll put you on that, and blah, blah, blah. None of the games are Xbox games. That's weird. That none of them are Xbox games. I feel like they would be the first. I don't know. That's weird that they haven't. Maybe they're going to do a more full court press later or something. Yeah, I don't know. That one's got me scratching my noodle a little bit. Pause. That's, yeah. Halo's not on there? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spam a link in chat. I owe you guys 5 members. You can keep doing the members. You can keep doing the super chats. Hang on, let me go over here. We'll set it to an hour. I will gift 5 members. So we'll maintain the super chat goal, but I'm going to lower it since you guys did get about halfway. All right, so that's set over there. All right, let's switch scenes. We'll switch audio input. Here we go. I'll get the goal up so you guys can see it. Okay. Lona listens to hip hop and that tickles me. Okay, there's the link of where we're headed. I will also redirect you. Guys, when we get over to this new stream, help me out. Go crazy on the like button. Let's get the first 100 likes really, really quickly. That is like super, super helpful with a live stream. All right. I'm going to be playing on Series X. Here we go. Thanks so much for checking out this video. We are going to be diving in for the first time. I have not played this yet. We do have the Day 0 patch. This will be Stalker 2 gameplay on the Xbox Series X. We have it set to performance. I have motion blur set to low. You can't turn it off. You can just set it to low. So we're diving in for the first time ever. I haven't touched this yet. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl gameplay on the Xbox Series X. I'm bringing people over from a live show from this morning. We read through the reviews. They're not great. A lot of performance issues and AI issues. I'm going to end that stream and redirect people over, and then I will change that thumbnail because we are no longer live. Now, if you are here in this stream or you're watching this later, do me a favor.